Welcome to the Quick Stop F1 podcast. My name is Mario, and you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate it. Guys, if you're watching on if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend, tell their friend to tell another friend. Just let us know. We're still waiting for a haiku in the reviews, 5 stars, obviously, if you're on Spotify or Apple. And then we've got a Patreon for ad-free content. Make sure to check that out if you're interested. More importantly than all of that, except subscribe, is my co-host. Fun fact about her, unlike Selena Gomez, when she says she's disconnecting, she really does. And I'm proud of her. And I mean that. Like, she disconnected. I'm not going to go into why. I know that she really did, but she really did. When she sets her mind to it, she's still deciding. She's still waiting it out. She's going to become a master in chess. And I'm saying grandmaster. She's going to do a world tour. She's only going to do it for like 2 years. That's it.
In and out real quick.
Exactly. I mean? Just
quit
like I'm saying, give me the racks, the trophies, and then I'm out. Mm-hmm. Just to prove that I could. With all that said, the greatest co-host anyone could ever ask for. It's Tasha.
Hello.
Welcome to our podcast and the one I am a guest.
Right.
How are
You're guest in your own home.
In my own home. I'm not even a roommate. Like, I get to visit sometimes. Right. How are you, Tasha?
I'm great. I'm rested. I feel like I am ready to podcast again. Dust off. I literally had to dust off my podcast microphone.
That's
it was like collecting dust. So yeah, I'm happy to be back.
How do you feel now that it's out about the Lewis Hamilton fashion podcast that we put out with Rashi? I think that was the most recent episode that we put out. Right. How did you feel about it? Did you get to watch it back?
I actually haven't watched it back. Like, I've listened to it, but I didn't watch it. Normally I do.
Okay. I should have asked, like, consumed it in any way.
Yeah. So, normally I watch and listen to the podcast, but for some reason I haven't. I just feel like that last, like, week before the holidays was really busy. And then I got kind of sick, and then I just haven't watched it. So, but I don't know. I loved it. I love being able to just talk with Rashi in general. Like I said, like, she's like the first person I think of when it comes to like Lewis Hamilton and breaking down his fashion sense. So yeah, it's just fun to talk with her.
The second person you think of is me. So that's what I was.
Absolutely. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. What did you think? Did you enjoy the episode?
It was very not out of my comfort zone. Like, I was uncomfortable because like, it was a conversation, and these conversations are great, but it was very fun to talk about something more specific than just like the whole world of Formula One,
right?
And to talk about a different topic. That's maybe the only episode where I've listened to it and been like, man, I wish people would tell me like how I did, just because like I was so out of my element. But I think the episode, like, I enjoyed it. I think the episode was good. Obviously, y'all carried as usual, but like, I think it was
I think we did a good job. I think you did a good job. I know fashion is not like your favorite topic to talk about, so that's why I was just like,
I like it, but like we were diving, diving, you know.
Yeah,
I'm more of a kiddie pool person with, you know. Y'all have me swimming in the 12-foot pool. Oh.
Yeah,
I'm actually a really
scary.
strong swimmer.
Well, next time, because apparently a lot of people want us to do in their episodes. So next time you'll have a bit more fashion knowledge, and we can all dive in the deep end.
I actually have a resume now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think I really like the reception for it, and I really like that some people gravitated to it. One of my favorite comments was like, I said I was out of F1, but for this, I'll come back. I love that comment. I heard that comment. I was like, talk to us. We're podcasting. We're still podcasting about F1. Talk to us about. I said we were out. They pulled me back in. Yes.
Yeah. I was like, it is funny because a lot of people have that same, like, everybody's on break. Like, F1's on break, and then the F1 like fan base is also on break.
Viewers are on break. Subscribe.
Subscribe, guys. We're trying to hit 4K subscribers on YouTube. So help us out if you haven't already. But yeah, it's just like so interesting that so many people are also like not engaged that much with like Formula One content at the moment. So it is kind of cool that people actually like this episode, listened to this episode, and really enjoyed it. So yeah. Good job,
and we'll
Mario.
be
We did a good
resharing the
job.
crap out of it during the season. Another episode that came out that featured you and I and Fifth Gear Garms, and it was hosted by Fanamp, was the first episode of Family Feud.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should spoil what happened, but I think
no. We should encourage you all to watch our episode.
I just want to say
it was fun
that I peak way too early.
Did you?
There's one time where I really nail it and and I think from then on it just went down. And I won't say which one, but to this day, I am still haunted by one answer that I did not give.
Yeah,
I still think about it at least. I can literally give it to you right now, but I won't because it's spoilers, I guess. Please watch the episode.
Right.
But I'm still haunted by one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a couple for me. I was like, man, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like my brain. So the thing with the Family Feud was that they actually did survey F1 fans. If you guys happen to see this,
that's good information.
Stuff that we shared. Yes. Yeah. So they actually did survey real fans. So it was just interesting to me, my answers were way out of alignment with what I thought people were going to say. So that was fun. I thought, I don't know, I was thinking way too abstract and overthinking some of these things. But it was in general, it was just a fun experience. It definitely makes you feel like if you were on a game show, I think everybody goes into it thinking oh, I'm going to be good at this. I'm going to be great. And then you have 2 seconds to answer a question, recall some sort of information way in the back of your brain. And it's I don't know, it's just so easy to feel like it's going to be super simple to do, but it actually is kind of nerve-wracking a little bit. But it was for fun, so it wasn't.
It was fun.
If money was on the line, I think I might have been a little bit more ruthless.
You would have told me that. You would have told me that. You would have told me that. I would have. Ooh. I think I'm going to say 2 of the questions only, not any answers or anything, but 2 of the questions that were in our episode, because I really liked that the first question. We got a quick stop here. It's got to be a Lewis Hamilton question, right? But I really liked the second question. One of the questions, and no hard feelings. This is just literally something that I could not figure out in my brain. One of the questions was it Christmas presents or presents in general for Max Verstappen?
Oh, for Secret Santa.
Secret Santa. And this is not coming from a place of hate or being rude. This is coming from a place that my brain failed me at that time.
Yeah.
I did not know what to get Sir Maximilian. I did not know. Anyways,
who knew that being a Max Verstappen hater would be our downfall?
I'm not even a hater. I am. When it came to
I got some of it. I got some of it right, but I was I don't know enough about this guy, so it is what it is.
And that's not a Max thing, because hey, I feel like if I were to ask you, for example, does Alex Albon have pets?
Yeah, he does. He has.
We're familiar with other drivers.
Yeah,
we're familiar with other drivers. It's Anyways, watch that episode. It was really fun, and we're surely going to.
We'll put the link in the description on YouTube there, so you guys can just click it. Easy access. We'll make it easy.
She's so professional. Yeah,
I try.
I'm embarrassed that the next part I actually wrote from memory, and I didn't even have to look for this information. So I have decided to be less on Twitter as well. This is what I've seen recently with regards to drivers. I have a question and a comment. Can we agree that Max, as a Formula One driver, Max has to efficiently strive to be as close to perfect as possible? That's what he has to strive. I'm not saying I'm just saying that's what he strives for, correct?
Right.
Okay. I think he has the same exact approach whenever he has to take a picture with Kelly Piquet. I think Kelly cares about having a good pictures, right?
Yes.
I think she cares about a good picture, about taking a good picture.
Yes.
And Max is her accessory. And that's okay. Some guys are going to be accessories.
Yeah.
If you're arm candy, good for you. Not some guys. Anybody in a relationship could be arm candy sometimes. And Max really gives off the vibe in those pictures. But all this to say, I think that from the moment that Kelly says, Max, let's take a picture, to Max striking the perfect Kelly approved pose, I think he would win records for that. And I'm just throwing that out.
Yeah.
I think he, yeah.
I mean, if you talk about like Max efficiency, I think comes to mind. I think he knows what the deal is with her. So I think he tries to get the shot as soon as humanly possible so that he can enjoy the rest of the event that he's at. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
So
I'm saying he does it. He does it out of love and out of like, I got to, because he does it because this is a good picture. We need this is a good picture. I'm sure that they've talked about it, which relationships talk about it, but I'm sure that they've talked about it before. Like, this is my good side. This is how the picture should be. And I really think that Max is like, and he's set. And I just want to say that. I was supposed to get that off my chest.
Okay.
Next up, I'm gonna basically we're gonna play Where's That Driver? And all I want to, I'm gonna ask you certain questions. Have you seen Lando? How he's basically jet setting the world? He's been seen in many places.
I did, and there was an account that shared, I guess like for jets or any airplane, you could kind of see their travel trajectory, and like he's been to like 7 or 8 different places.
He's been eating up that carbon footprint. That carbon footprint is Bigfoot Bigfoot wishes. Woo.
Meanwhile, I'm drinking my fucking coffee out of a fucking cardboard straw. Like, you know, Lando Norris is creating so much.
I was raised in a household where recycle every week. Mom, I don't want to. We didn't ask here. We recycle. Like, is that plastic going into the? No. The Super Bowl broke me. The most recent Super Bowl. Not that I don't recycle, but it broke me, and like I am meaningless because the amount of private jets that flew in and out just for the Super Bowl is a gargantuan amount of negative effect on the environment that I will never offset.
It's disturbing.
And I still do it because it's what I can do.
Right.
But it broke me. It broke me.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, well, I don't want to get into it, but we can.
Yeah.
That's a conversation for another day, because it is kind of crazy seeing the carbon footprint of like wealthy people. And then we're told as individuals to like do all this little stuff to mitigate their carbon footprint. And it's like, it doesn't work like that. You can recycle your entire life, and some global warming will still take effect.
Somehow it's a morality thing now.
Exactly.
Somehow it's a morality thing now. Like, okay, so we got Lando jet setting, and we will for the question we will pretend like in no carbon footprint. We got Lewis in Brazil. Have you seen the TikToks or the Instagram posts for Alex Albon?
I think I saw one that he posted there in Thailand. Maybe.
Beautiful pictures. Yeah. Also a TikTok with Lily where he's there, like he takes a turn and he's pretending to. They have fun together.
Yeah.
Alonso, Carmen, and George Russell were spotted once again in New Year's Eve.
Okay.
And we had Oscar Piastri yesterday in the Paris NBA game.
I did see that.
You can switch places just as a quick vacation. You can switch places with any of these people, just as if you're playing at home. Switch places. So you can't say, I'm just going to go to Brazil to be with Lewis Hamilton. You're switching places with Lewis. So we've got jet setting like Lando, no carbon footprint. We've got Lewis in Brazil doing all kinds of cool stuff. We got Albon living a great life, posting pictures, being a TikTok star. We've got, I'm going to let you add yourself and not swap places to Alonso, George Russell, and Carmen. And then I don't think you're interested in that one anyway. It's not because of Carmen.
Yeah, definitely. Carmen and I would love to hang out with Carmen.
I think you guys would get along magnificently.
Yeah, I think we would be besties, honestly.
I really do.
I think to answer your question, I think I would take Alex Albon's trip. I've always wanted to go to Thailand. I think
there you go.
Like it's beautiful looking. So, and like I'm obsessed with Thai food. So I just feel like that'd be a great break.
You'd be in your
for me.
element.
Yeah. And like for me, I'd be on the other side of the world. So like people can't bother me. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm in a whole different like time zone right now. I missed your call and all your texts and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's just like the perfect excuse. So yeah. And then I get to hang out with Lily. So I think that's the other like benefit, you know?
True.
Yeah.
If I did not have the hindsight of the score of that basketball game, which was historically bad, I would have said Oscar. Be in Paris. Pharrell was there. You know, looked fun.
Was it like a celebrity basketball game or like
it was an NBA game, but they do one in Mexico City, like a team, two NBA teams, because there's no NBA team in Mexico City, will travel and play there, an official NBA game. This is the Paris game. So they're doing that a little bit more, and they're next year they're going to do it in another country.
Okay.
What's really cool, which is the last thing I'll say about basketball, but what's really cool is that there is a rookie. So his first year in the league, that wasn't for you, that was in general. There's a rookie in the league that came in that is amazing, and he is from France, and they had a Paris France game, and that is cool. So he got to go there and he didn't play, but like that's even better because he was just hanging out there as an ambassador.
That's cool.
Oscar looked neat. He looked like he was having fun. Oh, he said they asked him who wins U Orlando at basketball, and he says, he's so nice. He says, Lando can beat me at golf.
Yeah.
But at basketball, no shot. No shot.
Oh, okay.
Like he does not win at basketball.
Well, I need to see that.
I was like, this guy is a professional. Like you always do the little sandwich where it's like, you're good at this.
Compliment
and
sandwich.
then I tell you, man is practiced. I say man, he's basically a boy.
Yeah, he's got real good media training, I will say.
Absolutely. He's well trained for sure. Anything else you've seen recently? Not recently because you were disconnected for a while, but like anything.
You make it sound like I was just like under a rock, like meditating in like the forest. I was around the internet.
I was sending you SOSs. I was sending you SOSs. You wouldn't respond.
Oh yeah, that's the DND. The beginning of the year for me, I always am like super checked out. My birthday's on the 1st, and so I just find that like,
hello there.
Hi. Yeah, I always just like to make
I'm so sorry.
Mario was going through it. He was like, hello. Where are you, Tasha? All caps.
I thought I lost you. Like, I don't know. The year turns in. It's like I'm done with it.
And sleepy and just exhausted. So yeah, I always start the beginning of the year with like a little rest period, refresh. You know.
I love that for you. I love that for you.
You should try it. It's great. It's fabulous.
I was hanging out with family most of December and start of January was all family time. It was fantastic. It was fantastic. It was great. I'm getting FOMO because people are going to like all these racing events, and I'm getting FOMO, not like serious, but like I'm gonna maybe look into like, because there's a Daytona and there's a Sebring thing, which are big deals, and those are both like 2 hours away from me.
Oh yeah,
I'm kind of curious.
You should go.
Kind of curious to see what the vibe is over there. But we are here on a Saturday, recording not on a Saturday, show on a Saturday. That puts the pressure on Chris. It's got to be on a Saturday. Anyways, we are here with our usual format where we've prepared it in case you missed it. It's going to be a little bit longer than usual, but there's conversations to be had based on news that have come out. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Gunther Steiner and Haas in general. So stay tuned for that after in case you missed it. With that said, I will go ahead and start with the first in case you missed it, which is just talk about Stake F1 Team in general. They released the name, I think, and tell me if you agree, they overdid the setting expectations, the lead up to
that teaser was...
They blew that crap way too far. For this to be the name? like, oh my
God.
So you're saying you just removed two of the things that were there.
It was just so bad.
And I saw them trying to embrace, like corporations trying to be people. They're trying to embrace the stake emoji. You're not slick. You don't like it. You're not slick. Like nobody likes nobody in the steak team is like, I like that being our emoji.
Right.
You know?
Strange.
So some context, the Australian online live streaming platform, Cake.com, is a subsidiary of EasyGo Entertainment, blah, 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 also owns Steak.com. And they've got the chassis naming rights.
Mhm.
They teamed up with Sauber in 2023. So, and they also sponsored Premier League side Everton. I am so sorry if it's differently. Please don't come at me, football community. And they also I wanted, this all came out because I'm looking for like, why did Drake do the announcement? And I thought that I knew why. And so the point is that Drake is aligned, like Drake has an endorsement deal with Kick, and then Kick is just part of Stake, or F1's of Kick is part of Stake. So like, that's why they got Drake into the pipeline to announce the team name. And then the thing with that is that even though they changed their name to Stake F1, the countries or the race hosting, where races are being hosted, eight of the 24 have banned gambling. And so there's a difference between banning gambling and banning advertisement for gambling. So either or affects them, and they have to change their name to something else. In 2023, they changed. This is just fun fact time. In 2023, they changed the livery to Kick and all green and stuff. And we were like, "Ooh, they changed their livery. That's cool." They only changed it because they couldn't legally use their actual name. I'm not going to say only changed it, but like convenient that you had to do that.
It's crazy.
Does this give you anything? Like, are you supposed to be excited by Stake F1?
I have no idea. I mean, honestly, no. Like, the rollout was so botched. Even Drake being part of it, like, wasn't that great. And I feel like, I don't know if we've kind of evolved past the need for Drake. I don't know. Like, he's just
in
like,
general media, because people are gonna love it. But in like, you're saying in general media, like
as a, I don't know, like, it's just weird. Like, he just doesn't fit, and I feel like I just feel like he didn't move the needle at all. Like, there's just some disconnect between.
Yeah, that's a great way to say it.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Drake
the
normally,
needle stayed the same. It didn't even like. It didn't like anything.
Drake has sent like tweets that have garnered more attention than an entire rollout of an F1 team name. So I don't know. They might want to go back to drawing board on this one. I'm not really moved by it. I'm also
absolutely not, because they're gonna change name in 2026.
Exactly. So it's
this is it. We're on life support, people. This is what we're using. There's no ifs, ands, or but. Like, we don't got time to have a personality. Like,
yeah. So yeah. Hard pass.
Valtteri is carrying the personality of that team in his mullet.
He got it dyed blonde recently. It looked really good.
Yeah.
Really brought out the scalp.
Was so
you know what I mean?
He put out deal with it. I was like, who why do you gotta I was already dealing with it. I have no problem with it, Valtteri. If you didn't know, there is a thing called the Drake curse. And so after meeting with Drake, Serena Williams lost the US Open. Her betting odds to win were 1.05. After the team photo with Drake, Manchester City lost the EPL with pre-match odds of 1.30. And Anthony Joshua, a heavyweight champion with odds of 1.10, faced an astounding defeat, an underdog at 9 after meeting Drake. And that's not even the like Drake jersey curse where like he just shows up in a jersey and you're like, that team is doomed. So there's something to look out for. We will, here in Quick Stop Saturday Show, we will keep close. We'll make a website and everything of how the Drake curse is doing.
Yeah, I wonder if it'll have the opposite effect, since
that'd be crazy.
Stake, doesn't really do that well. So maybe this will like reverse the odds,
See?
Maybe we'll be a champion, next season. Who knows? I mean, that would be crazy, right?
I want whatever you had before the show.
I had some tea.
Whatever you want before. Oh, give me that tea. Give me that tea. What news do you have for us?
All right. So something a little more boring. We have the FIA appointing a new sporting director within the single-seater department. His name is Tim Malyon. He is a former Red Bull employee. He worked there for 12 years as an engineer, but has kind of just moved throughout the sport. He actually was appointed in the FIA, I believe, back in 2018. So now he's moved up into the sporting director role after Steve Nielsen left in December. So we just were talking about that before the break, how, people are leaving the FIA left and right. And basically now we're getting somebody filling that role kind of immediately. So I know it's kind of an interesting
FIA to Red Bull to FIA to Red Bull to FIA.
Right. Red Bull to FIA pipeline.
You think they have a you think Red Bull has a development program for they develop you to go to the FIA? Like Red Bull is like an actual junior team of the FIA and they just development there.
I mean, what would be the requirements for that though at this point? Because I don't know.
Hang out with us enough, promise us you love us, and then remember us when you leave.
Think of us fondly. Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting. The FIA is like, I don't know. That's for me. That's like the story for the upcoming season that I'm really interested in. Just like all the personnel changes, all the beef happening. It's just, I don't know. It's weird. I hope we get something good out of it.
I just thought of, as you were saying that, then maybe we should keep, actually, not like the other thing that I said that we will not do, but maybe we should keep, try to find out when decisions are made, like penalties and stuff like that, actually look for the name of the person or the group that was working that day. Because if we had because we could find that maybe there's a common denominator and when Lewis gets penalties and stuff.
Oh yeah, there have been. Mr. Warwick comes to mind. Yeah, I mean, normally on the FIA documents, you can see the stewards that.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's just checking it in the pre-show, checking the names just in case.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll find some common threads.
It's so easy. Yeah. It's so easy to do here.
It's so surface level. I mean, a lot of the shit is just that we talked about earlier is a lot of stuff in F1 is it's on the surface. You don't even have to look that far. Or
you don't have to dig much to strike something what is this?
Yeah.
Not Formula One related, but very important. And it was part of the conversation during the F1 Twitter kind of talked about it. I saw this and thought we definitely have to talk about this. So MahindraRacing unveiled Ava, an AI influencer. I am reading quotes, by the way. These are not my words. I'm not calling nobody an AI influencer. Anyways, this AI influencer, Ava, was placed into an ambassador role. The intention of it being that they wanted to showcase the journey both in Formula E and in their support for a more sustainable world. This is a quote from Head of Partnerships. Having Ava, an influencer that is strongly associated with us and documents our journey, but with a broader appeal to help promote our core values as an organization, is a project we are hugely excited about. I just want to stop real quick to say those are strong words. The only real content that we got from Ava was on Instagram. I'm not gonna say who cares. The bio was sustainable tech queen and racing rebel robot with its goal of fueling inclusion through AI innovation. It had been documenting the influencer's life through 11 posts. What I will wrap up with is, and I forgot to say, news came out January 9th. And then it was unveiled January 9th. And then January 12th, it was canned. And the
grand opening, grand closing.
Literally. And the template that they chose for the apology goes as follows. Nurturing diversity, inclusion, and innovation is at the heart of MahindraRacing. Our AI influencer program was designed with this innovation in mind. Your comments hold tremendous value. We have listened, understood, and decided to discontinue the project. Those are words of Frederick Bertrand, CEO and team principal. So it was a very short-lived situation.
Yeah.
That was addressed very quickly. I got questions.
What's up?
Do you want to say anything before I ask you a question?
I mean, I have so many thoughts on this. So do you want to ask me questions and then we can kind of go from there?
Do you think it's a coincidence that she looked how she looked like?
What, like white and bland, basically? Yeah.
Yes.
No, I don't think so.
Why do you think that is? What do you think that is, huh? It's just,
I mean,
so coincidental.
So coincidental. Yeah, absolutely.
How many people do you think this is not one person who comes up with a decision and we're done? How many people had this on their table and they were like, yep, this is good. This sounds good.
I mean, just like I think with any time that there's something like this in the media, it goes through many hands, like at many levels, and they don't see anything wrong with it because to me, this tells me that there are not a lot of women employed there, or the women who are employed there are not listened to, which happens quite a lot. Like when you have like diversity, inclusion sort of like measures at companies, like people of color or women, minorities will get hired into roles, but not be taken seriously in those roles. You know what I mean? So like when it comes to something like this, being like, hey, I don't think it's a good idea to make our only, female influencer for our team a robot. So that's how it reads to me, that clearly there's not enough people in the room or who are able to make decisions being taken seriously. I do think it was interesting because I have read something recently about this with AI and sustainability, how much, and I don't know like necessarily for this purpose, if it's like, if it affects it that much, but the carbon footprint is actually an interesting component to AI, like as it becomes a bigger deal across industries. Running these machines and computers create a lot of emissions. So I do think it's kind of funny that, she's a sustainability influencer and can also create a carbon footprint, even though she's a digital, person. So I thought that was kind of funny. And it also reminded me of a scenario that happened just a couple years ago. There was a Black AI influencer. She got all these really beautiful like brand deals, work with like Louis Vuitton and like all these like fancy luxury brands. And then it turns out that she was created by a white man. So all that money.
I remember that.
Yeah, all that money. I think, what was her name? Let me see if I can find it real quick. But it was just like it was an interesting case because, when the model's name was Shudu, a South African model created by artificial intelligence. So it opened up a lot of like conversations because one, diversity and inclusion, especially in like the luxury fashion space, is already so limited. To be a Black woman in that space is already like really difficult to achieve. So the first time that we're seeing somebody who's like dark skinned, who's, South African, beautiful features, they're not even real. You know what I mean? It's such a slap in the face to people who are trying to achieve something in an industry, and you finally see some representation, but it's not real. And on top of that, it's created by a white man on the back end. So that's crazy. And that's the same situation that we're seeing here where, women are fighting for a place in motorsport, and you could have went and hired I can go on TikTok right now and find a handful of people who would have been qualified to do this and be an influencer.
Wouldn't take long.
It would not take more than 30 seconds. So the fact that they didn't do that and then decided, you know what, let's just make it a digital thing and AI, that just creeps me out. I'm sorry. Like I can't trust you at that point. Like as a team, like no matter what apology you push out, like I can't trust your judgment at that point because you had an opportunity to work with real people and to actually be inclusive and diverse, and instead decided to make a video game. So yeah, I can't be bothered.
Gotta love like actual unemployment in the world. I'm gonna make this computer be a person real quick.
Like what the fuck?
I have opinions about AI, but I'm not gonna go super into AI.
So do I.
What I will say is I haven't seen AI yet that I say I'm gonna have a conversation with this. I'm not saying that AI doesn't have purposes for any. I'm just saying, like, not once have I looked at an AI application and been like, it's so real.
Right.
It's like person. My goodness. And then you have AI and your decision is to, in this Formula E, just like Formula One, so data driven. Like everything is data driven. And I'm sure that Formula E is even more data driven because the batteries and the charging time and everything is more complicated. I feel like there are so many logical, common sense applications for AI.
Yeah.
And if point A is use it for the data, I feel like you have to stray so far in the nefarious line, so far to say, or we make a woman that's a robot that's probably controlled by men. Absolutely. Instead of hiring a woman to do the job. And we can even go as far as hiring an AI to do any person's job or that person's job. Like that role could have been filled by anybody. Yeah. But it's super unfortunate that they made the AI personality a woman when you literally have the chance to do something positive for for motorsports in general and hire an actual.
And this is where, without going so deep into my thoughts on AI, the surface level for me is just the way that it's used. Like you said, like when it's for data, when it's to like as a tool to help people perform their jobs or gather information, I think there's tons of practical usage for it. But I think when you start getting into to people's likeness, when you start getting into creating human-like characters, I guess, to essentially trick people, right? Even though you're saying in their bio, I'm an AI, whatever, but it's still used to trick people in other applications. I think we're in a real slippery slope situation with AI, where it's we're going to start to not understand what we're seeing. Is it real? Is it artificial intelligence? So I don't know. I just start to feel like it's all fun and games right now because everybody's trying to feel it out and figure out how they can use it, in a fun way. But I feel like because people use it in unethical ways like this application.
Day one, they're doing that.
You can't be imagine what we're going to be seeing 5-10 years from now. It's going to get, people can't even tell half the time when Kim Kardashian's photos are Photoshopped. You know what I'm saying? People can barely discern now when stuff is edited, let alone when it's created solely for the intent of being deceitful and yeah, I don't know. I love art. I love digital art. I love all this stuff, but I just see the way that human beings are going to exploit it and make it terrible.
I think it's nefarious. Yeah, this application in this specific moment is nefarious.
Yeah, I agree.
So many better ideas.
AKA just hire a woman.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy. That'd be crazy. That'd be insane.
Would have thought. Anyway.
What do you have for us?
So next up we have a change in the power unit regulation. So Formula Uno is reporting basically that the FIA has made an amendment to the regulations. April of last year, they basically said that the maximum number of legal engine components was increased from 3 to 4, giving teams that additional cushion. However, for this upcoming season in 2024, engine allocation has been lowered to its previous limit. So basically, everybody will be back to only having 3 power units allowed across the 24 race calendar, including the 6 sprint races, which is absolutely insane. So
my take is quick on this.
Yeah.
You're increasing the races. You're not changing the penalties.
Yeah.
You're reducing the power units. You want to give out these penalties.
Absolutely.
You can't convince me of literally anything else.
Absolutely.
These people want these penalties because when you give these penalties, you're putting Max Verstappen in 15th and look at him win from 15th.
Right.
And it's
yeah,
that's all it is. Cause if you're going to reduce the power units, and it would make sense to change the penalty.
Yeah.
But
I think it's interesting. Obviously there's going to be some teams. I think Ferrari was mentioned in this article as a team that would be opposed to it because, they have some issues with their engine reliability. So safe to say.
Poor Ferrari.
So yeah, for them, that's a huge deal. Like having one less power unit that's allowed, they're definitely going to be taking more penalties this year. But then you have other teams who have more reliable engines who are, they'll be chilling. So yeah, it'll create some, I guess, drama in the upcoming season. But yeah, I thought that was interesting because, yeah, I guess we got to do something to make it
if
less
this
boring
is
next
somehow,
year.
if this is somehow their way to make stuff more interesting,
yeah,
this would just be another drop in the yeah, this is what you come up with bucket. Like that's just another drop. Last one we have is a quick one. So what happens in Vegas is that business owners want money back. They a lot of business owners are reporting that during the F1 weekend in Vegas, and really the lead up and the follow up of the F1 Vegas GP, that they lost, some claimed millions and millions and millions of dollars in usual revenue that they have. And I'm sorry, because this is serious, but I read these quotes and I just had to read these quotes because this is serious, but read these quotes. More power to the people. Quote number 1, we don't need F1. F1 needs us. That's a vibe. What? Hear me out. You owe me. Next one is when F1 went before the county, they promised they would not be a hindrance. They promised they would be part of the community. That person is hurt with reason, but I'm saying that person is hurt. That person expected a community. This next quote, I'm sorry. We as a community got bamboozled. We got fooled. When did you learn the word bamboozled? I was quite old.
Oh, I don't even know. I have no idea. That's a great question.
I was like 19 or something.
Oh wow.
And then the last quote is, "This has not ever happened before. It just steamrolled out of control." So if this proves, we'll keep track of this, but if it proves that like it's true, we'd be shocked. So shocked.
I mean, they've got to do something. I definitely remember seeing leading up to the Vegas GP, like the locals were putting shit on their like windshield, like stickers on their car, like "fuck Formula One." You know what I mean? Like just real like disdain for.
It wasn't all happiness for sure.
No, a lot of it wasn't.
They were trying their best to like lower, like not feature those articles too much.
But they'll have. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I guess something has to change because this is on the calendar now for the next 10 years. So, you can't have this adversarial relationship.
Is it 10 years?
Yeah, they have a 10-year contract. So you can't have an adversarial relationship. I mean, maybe you can. I don't know. It doesn't seem sustainable though, because Vegas is,
it wouldn't shock me.
a service-based, location. And if, for some reason they all decide that they want to go on strike, which I know was kind of a possibility this just, for the inaugural
leading up
race. Yeah. So, I mean, imagine if they decide that they just want to like shut it down and like what that might look like, because the community does seem really pissed and disappointed that everything that was
seem genuinely
promised
angry
didn't happen. Yeah,
and with reason, like
they should. Like, yep. The F1 circus came into town, got what they wanted, and
that's what it really sounds like.
Yeah,
it really sounds like people that lived nearby, they must have a slew of like inconvenient things and really must feel like a not like a natural disaster, but like a circus, like a bunch of yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. Yeah. On to the main topic. So recently, you might have heard that Gunther Steiner was fired or let go or whatever you want to call it.
Parted ways.
Parted ways with Haas. I dove a little deeper and looked up some things that I thought were interesting before we get to like our conversations and our opinions and stuff. And feel free to jump at any time. But I, as a new F1 fan, had the pleasure of learning that Gene Haas, you ever heard of him? You might remember him. In 2007, he was sentenced to 2 years in federal prison after pleading guilty to criminal tax evasion. He was ordered to pay $75 million in restitution and fines. He was actually, because I read that and I was like, no way was he in. There's no way he went to jail. I was like, that much money? That dude paid his way and he was like chilling at home. But he was incarcerated in January 2008 and released on probation in May 7th, 2009. He was in prison for 16 months. That's crazy.
Nice.
This was like the first 5 minutes of me trying to put together the story for Gunther. 5 minutes. 5 minutes until I'm like, oh, prison, that's neat. I also wanted to get a little bit of context with regards to how he does in NASCAR, because I thought that it'd be interesting to see. Like, maybe he's frustrated with the NASCAR thing as well. Maybe this is a summation of frustrations. Turns out it might be. So Haas is half owner of Stewart Haas Racing. The Stewart part is from Tony Stewart, who is an icon in NASCAR. I do not follow NASCAR. I don't know, but everywhere I read, it was like, this guy's a legend. In summary, with the team has won. So I wanted to go with that angle. I was like, man, if that team hasn't won stuff and this team hasn't won stuff, that'd be crazy. But the team has had success before. But in the current time that we live in, they are on a losing streak. They had the worst ever season in their history in 2023. And for the first time since entering the sport, the team's 4 top-level Cup Series. A Cup Series is like, I think, a series of races. I don't know. Anyways, hit me up if you want to come teach me NASCAR. The team's 4 top-level Cup Series cars all failed to secure a win. So they're having a bad season.
Nice.
The last thing I'll say from the NASCAR thing, you might remember from, 15 minutes ago when we were talking about MahindraRacing. I was looking at the Haas stuff, and then I read that Mahindra Tractors, yes, relation, has sponsored and is sponsoring their NASCAR team. That I'm not saying anything with that. I just found that interesting. Research one thing, get the other. Okay,
love it.
Let's talk about Mr. Gunther Steiner and his time in the Haas F1 team. Over 160 races, they never got a podium. This last year, they were 10th. I did the math because it's simple for my simple brain, and their average placement throughout the career, throughout Gunther Steiner's career, my goodness, 8.3. That's the average. So out of 8 seasons, they averaged at 8.3. And then he was fired on my birthday on January 10th, 2024. So I had a better day than he did. Yeah. I had a better day than he did. And like, they say money doesn't buy happiness. I'm not saying I'm broke, but like, I ain't got Gunther Steiner money. So like, and he wasn't happy on the 10th. I was happy on the 10th. Hung out with my dog. So all that to say, performance maybe wasn't there. And we'll talk about reasons.
Yeah.
Do you want me to keep going and do the firing and stuff, or do you have any opinions so far? Did you know that man was in prison?
No. I always am so taken aback by the characters in Formula One. Like, these are criminals. You know what I'm saying? Like, these
are actual criminals.
These fraud, jail,
Stroll, tax evasion.
Like, wow.
That's how you get in. You collect those 5, like the cards. No. I did tax evasion.
Yeah.
I paid my way out of jail. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. When you hit the Connect 4 on any of those 4 terrible, like any terrible thing, that's when you get in.
Damn. It's gotta be
to me, it's one of those really like funny laugh to yourself moment, because it did not take more than 5 minutes of preparing the document to like find that. I was like, there's no way. I tried my best to look for information so I could talk about the money part of it. And I will say some numbers. I'm not super confident because like stuff like net worth and revenue and stuff like that like is reported and is sometimes it's speculated. But what I did what I did find that might be wrong, but like I looked at it enough, is that NASCAR is the Stewart Haas valuation is 200 million versus the Haas F1 team, where Gene Haas is by himself. He's got sponsors and everything, but he's the sole owner, is 780 million. So it's a much, much larger investment in comparison. And I'm sure that the money to run it is also going to be higher. I looked for revenue, and the Stewart Haas team is almost like pays for itself almost, while the Haas F1 team does not appear so.
Yeah, I think NASCAR, because it's I think a spec series, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think it costs as much. Series? Yeah, but all the cars are basically like, they don't have, it's not like Formula One where they have to each like engineer like a, super fancy car. It's like very basic essentially. So it doesn't cost as much to run a team. So I wonder if he thought when he got in Formula One, or maybe I don't know, maybe that's, like that's where I was involved. Going. Yeah, who knows?
Like if the reason I included that was because, just like you said, like if he had the expectation that like I did it here, like I'll do it there, it's just the same, then that's a crazy like expectation to have about F1. So the firing comes out, and the template that Gene used was, I'd like to start by extending my thanks to Gunther Steiner for all his artwork over the past decade. Wish him well in the future. That's all I'm going to read, really, because I have the next thing. I think the driver's tweets, if I were to speculate, if I were to play Tweet Inspector, I would say they're pretty bland and not very genuine. K-Mac said, "Thanks for taking me on the journey in 2017 and bringing me on board again. It has been both fun and tremendously challenging, but never boring." And then Nico's is great. Come on, tell me what this tweet gives you. "Thanks, Gunther, for your trust, friendship, and opportunity to go racing in F1 again. You're definitely a character. All the best." Does that give you genuine... Does that give you good, strong relationship? That does not give me a good, strong relationship.
No. I mean, there has been talk behind the scenes that he's not that easy to get along with. I think the drivers specifically have all kind of had issues with him. So it's not... Of course. Yeah, it definitely makes sense that these are kind of cold and like, middle of the road kind of goodbyes. But yeah, I don't know. The whole team dynamic in general just like gives me bad vibes. So all of this makes complete sense to me in my mind. You know what I mean?
I read the statement with regards to Ayao. I apologize if it is incorrectly spoken. But I found it really funny because, speaking of cold, and you alluded to this in the pre-show, and we'll talk about it. Gene said, "We looked from within at who had most experience. He has been with the team since day one. He knows the ins and outs." To me, that sounds like this dude's been here forever. I don't have to train him on anything. He knows how to submit his timesheet. Like, I'm just going to put him there. Yeah. It gives like, he was close to Gunther Steiner for a long time. He can do it. Like, no mention of like his technical, like, why has he shown leadership? Like, has he brought ideas that were good?
Right.
It feels like it's like, he's been here really long, guys. Like, how would we not? She almost there. I wanted to also mention Simone Resta also left Haas very recently. He was a chief designer at Ferrari. Then he had a stint with Alfa Romeo, and then he joined Haas in 2021 on loan from Ferrari, because you can loan people. That's kind of weird. And so so what I found interesting about Ayao, sorry to go back because I misordered, he came into Haas with Roman Grosjean because they were together in Lotus. That's another fun fact. Okay. That is, I think, more than enough context to drill down into the actual things about today. One of Gene Haas's statement was that he is embarrassed that his Formula One team has not been more competitive given its close relationship with supplier Ferrari. We also have, we also found articles where it's either any fresh investment from either Gene Haas or from critical outside sponsors, things will change. I'm sorry, I don't know why they said that. But according to the race, he doesn't want to spend any more of his own money and doesn't want to spend other people's money either because they expect a return on investment. So, thoughts on Gene Haas saying that he's embarrassed, and at the same time, he also said, I don't have it here, but we also saw the news where he said that he doesn't think that he should put more money into the team for the team to perform better. How does that make sense? How do I not need to give you more money? How do I think because we are tied to Ferrari, we should perform? How does his lack of performance, how does all this add up to you?
Well, I mean, like on the surface level, to me, like hearing about Gunther getting let go, like obviously when you look at Haas's, tenure in F1, it has not been great. They, I think, peaked in 2018 at like 5th in the constructor. I mean, but other than that, they've basically been bottom, dead last. So from that perspective, I think under normal circumstances, you could say like, yeah, like get rid of the team principal because they're not really doing anything. He's had like almost 10 years. Nothing has really happened in that 10 years that justifies him keeping his job. But then on the other hand, when you kind of read about Gene and kind of his involvement with the team, it really seems like he doesn't want to do the necessary like financial investment to actually make the team better. I do think that I can't remember which driver it was, but
K-Mag.
Yeah, was complaining about like the, pit stop equipment being from like 2016 or whatever, like just old, outdated infrastructure, old, outdated equipment. The car obviously is not great either, and they have very like few resources to make it better. So when you look at it from that perspective, I feel like, okay, yes, Gunther, we can say he didn't bring much to the team as far as like success. But if, Gene is saying like, I don't want to invest in my team financially and I don't want other people investing in the team either, how is the team supposed to get better regardless of who the team principal is? Do you know what I mean? Like, it just seems like the stuff that would help make them better is money. And they're it seems like Gene's in a stalemate situation where he doesn't want to provide that. And he also doesn't want people investing. And I guess that maybe has to do with like being kind of responsible or accountable to them, because if they invest.
Literally that.
Yeah.
It's literally that.
So you can't have it both ways. And I don't think that, I mean, again, you can say whatever you want about Gunther, but I think that he's just a scapegoat in this situation. The new guy, Ayao.
That was my question for later.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You asked me my thoughts, and so I have a bunch.
Hey, it's I that is my fault. Absolutely. I'm having a mental blank, but I guess which do you believe? I think this is a middle way or a compromise between both things being true. Gene Haas does not want to give more money, and Gunther Steiner didn't bring any results. But what I was going to ask, and I interrupted you terribly, very unprofessional of me, was like, does Gunther Steiner feel like a scapegoat to you because we are also seeing all of this, not slander because it's true, but like all of these news about Gene Haas not putting more money into it? With those two, does Gunther still feel like a scapegoat in this situation?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like the additional like nuance makes me feel like he's going to be the person that's held accountable for the lack of results in the team. But like I said, when even the drivers are saying like, hey, all this shit that we're dealing with is old. Like, we need money.
It's rusty. All this shit rusty.
Like we can't make the same moves forward that other teams are making. Like, you have Williams in a similar boat, like as a team that's not necessarily like flush with cash. However, they are starting to get investments. And then you have also the new team principal, James Vowles, who, also comes from a technical background, the same as the new team principal. But James seems like he has a vision and a focus for the team, right? Like he came in and you immediately were like, okay, somebody knows how to sail this ship. And like, I've never heard this guy talk. His name is Ayao Komatsu. So I've never heard him like speak. So I don't know what to expect from him, but I just feel like he's getting thrown to the wolves. You know what I mean? Like he's been there as long as Gunther has. And I feel like in most cases, it probably does make the most sense to like hire internally. But this just feels like we made a change for the sake of making changes. And I don't know that the new team principal has that same kind of vision, you know, to turn the team around.
He literally hired the person that was in closest reach. Like he did like that. Yeah. And it was like, oh, you're here. Yeah. Perfect.
So yeah, I mean, but he's also the chief engineer. So I'm like, his hands were tied a lot, I'm sure, as well in his role. Like
I'm sure
from
he was
lack
on
of money.
Boat.
Yeah. So I don't know what he would bring, what he brings to the table other than just being a completely different person. And I don't think that that's fair in this situation when you're asking for results and your team's asking for money.
Improvement of any kind. And you are giving me no tools to be capable of improving.
Yeah. So he's definitely like giving him like this whole make it work type of thing. And I feel like you're never going to yield the kind of results that you want from that. Like if he really wants to be successful, he has to bring in money. Like look what happened with, Aston Martin with Lawrence Stroll. Like, changing that whole team around was important and he needed money. He did that with money. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like he
flexed on people. My God. He was walking around with like, I got money,
there's money. So I'm just, you can't, but then I'm like, okay, so then what is your purpose of being in Formula One? Like you want to be a competitive team, but you don't want to do what's necessary to be competitive. So why are you here? Like we have other people who are interested in taking the spot on the grid. Like, why are you taking up a spot? Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
I do. Imagine we've been talking about it for so long with Andretti.
Yeah.
Like the concept of value. I don't see any value in the last 8 years of Haas.
And
except for Drive to Survive.
Yes. And I was going to say, like, ironically, the most valuable person on the team is Gunther. Like, he's the only person bringing in some kind of like...
He's the most marketable.
Yeah, he's bringing in... Exactly. So it's just like, to me, I'm like, again, this doesn't seem like the right decision to make, especially not like what we're like just a little over a month out from the start of the season. Like, why did this have to happen now? I don't know if it would have made it better if it happened in the middle of the season, but it's like, he's just pissed. He's like, none of my investments are paying off. And like,
he's pissed.
Yeah.
I think this is, and you said it, I think this is making a change for the sake of making a change. And of all people, like, because the data set, like the numbers say the story, I guess you can be like, I can fire him because like the numbers aren't there. So what are they going to say?
Right.
Have you watched Drive to Survive? You have, right?
First like 2 seasons. I didn't watch the most recent ones. I feel like at this point it's so repetitive, it's just kind of boring. But like the first one was really good.
The most recent season has at the beginning of it is Mattia and Gunther in a small car.
Oh driving. Yeah, I think I saw that episode actually. Yeah.
I hate to say this,
but
I would love that as a spinoff. I would love that as a spinoff. I hate to say it, but I would. I
mean, Gunther, I think, doesn't he have like a show in development with like CBS, if I'm not mistaken? There was so I'm like, this dude is...
He does. And the book that just came out.
He's going to be fine. Like, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting a year from now if they don't see any, improvements.
There's no way Haas is in 9th or 10th. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. It's just 8th at most. There's no way.
That they don't... You think they're going to improve to 8th?
At most.
Really? Are you being serious or are you joking?
Haas?
Yes.
I'm saying the Haas's ceiling for next year is 8th.
Oh, I'm thinking they're still going to be 10th.
Okay. Just don't you know how to twist my arm, okay. I'm telling you ceiling. I'm telling you all stars align. I'm 8th. Like best. Like she said 10. Oh gosh. Yeah,
maybe 9.
I'll put money on that before I put money on 8th. 100%.
Let's ask Drake what he thinks.
Surely he will know.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the last thing and kind of, but like I think the Gunther Steiner book is called Survive to Drive. And I'm sure that Drive to Survive had to in some way make a favor. I'm convinced they invested in his book. Like I'm convinced the Drive to Survive gang is somehow like tied to the book. And I see this as, because like Survive to Drive should go into copyright infringement, I think. Either way, I think that Drive to Survive has put investment into making Gunther a personality and putting him out there, and now he's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's you
talk about not getting your return of investment.
Yeah, you fucked up the whole ecosystem of Formula One. Like you have, when Danny was out, everybody was like, oh my God, what are we going to do now? Gunther's out. Like there's not that many like big personalities who like draw in like an audience the way that he does, which is crazy to even think. But yeah, it'll be fascinating to see like because it's like a low-hanging fruit type of thing, like using somebody like that to promote the sport.
Absolutely.
And
it's a great recurring character.
Kicking him out, it's like probably not great for the bottom line for everybody else, but yeah, we'll see.
Imagine Will Buxton's role in Drive to Survive, but it's Gunther Steiner.
I would have 100%. If I don't have to hear
that's an idea.
Mansplaining everything.
That's an idea.
I'll take that.
I think that's what you do.
Yeah.
You bring him in, not heavy, but you bring him as a narrator.
Yeah.
Not super heavy narration, but like bring him in.
Yeah.
Speaking of bringing something in, bring in those subscriptions and those likes and those comments and that engagement. We love to see it. We hope everyone's having a great vacation, but don't forget us. I'm kidding. Y'all enjoy yourselves. If you're still with us, thank you very much. What are your thoughts? The people, do you think Gunther was a scapegoat? Do you think Haas will reach their Mount Everest and get 8th next season? Do you think they're capable, or are we going to see them at 10? All that and more. No, but thank you very much. We'll keep bringing out episodes until the season starts. I'm sure we'll come up with different ideas. Like we mentioned earlier, if you haven't watched the Fan Family Feud episode, or if you haven't watched the Lewis Hamilton Fashion episode, check those out. The links will be in the bio. Yeah, I've been Mario. You can find me at Mario_APM on Twitter and Instagram. Where can the people find my wonderful co-host?
You guys can find me on Twitter and on Threads. I'm at Tasha. And Instagram.
Yo, is Threads popping?
No, but I'm giving it a chance because I'm tired of Twitter.
Good shit. So, that's okay. That's okay. Twitter has been a cesspool of porn and robots and ads and spam. It's actually really, really terrible.
Yeah, it's hell. It's hell in there.
Like I am nobody on Twitter. I am nobody. Very, very tiny. And then I still get instant robots. I can't imagine being a celebrity or anyone who has a big Twitter following. They must get like 20. It must be impressive, but like it's crazy. It's terrible. Yeah. Join us on FanAmp. That's where we're at. With that, Tasha, would you please take us away?
Yeah. Thanks again, guys, for listening. We really appreciate you. And remember, no matter what happens in life, keep it on the black stuff. Bye.
Bye.
Look, mate, if you've got this far, clearly you like what we do. So here's a link to subscribe to the Quickstop F1 family. Give that a click. And here's another link to some more cool on our channel. Sorry, cool stuff. And remember, no matter what happens, keep it on the black stuff. Click the stuff. Click the links. Click the links. Click the links. There. They're there.